Welcome everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna pour a cup of orange juice for myself. In honor of this pain I'm about to go through. They added mango flavoring. I am going to go back to the game Falldown. But thankfully, I looked at this actually for a while before I started this episode. So basically, I wanted to get a feel for what was going on, and I really wanted to debug this game just because it's just sitting there. It's kind of like this eyesore, and there was something still wrong with it, and it wasn't working. And I knew there was just something wrong with it. So I looked through it. I looked at what the variables m and everything, and I kind of just tracked in my mind what the variables kind of supposed to be are. Okay. And here is an important section that I want to talk about. There are a couple minor changes I made, like I changed the variables s and t were keeping track of the old x and y, and when I initialized them, I initialized y to 3, but I initialized t to 1, so I didn't catch that, so I had to initialize t to 3. It was just the starting value, so it doesn't really matter. But this section of code right here, so this is where we actually increment the fall. This is important. M, remember, that's the state. It's 1 through 8, and if it's even, that means the second, 4th, 6th, and 8th rows are walls, and y is where we are. So if we subtract y from m, and then subtract 1 from that, we're kind of odd. So right here I add 8 so to make sure it's positive. But right here, this will equal 0. I kind of decided to add in these 2 lines of code right here. So I wanted to see what was actually going on, why I wasn't falling through holes, and here's where we actually check where the holes are. So I kind of decided, okay, where the y is right now, okay, I'm going to output what the holes I'm testing for are. And I'm going to output a star where the holes, I'm actually saying, okay, is there a hole here? Okay? And you're going to be sad by what you see. So it's offset. So if you notice the star up here, it's actually down 1. And yes, I also messed with the code for like where the y value was, because it's not matching up for some reason. It's still not matching up. I'm like inside the wall. But you'll notice it's off. It's very off. Which is not good. And I should not be stopped right here. For another thing, I should not be stopped. I should be 1 down. Actually, no, the holes are in the correct spot. I'm just 1 up. Actually, those holes are in the correct... Hold on a second. Let me go back to the code down there. There's something not right. I should be falling down 1 more. That's the thing. I should be falling down 1 more. Here's another thing. W is less than or 4. I'm going to delete that because I want it to crash if W is greater than 4. I really do. because I want to know if W is greater than 4 there. It should not be. And it doesn't appear as though it is, so if it is, then it'll crash and I will see that it is greater than 4 at that position. Because I don't think it ever should be. But I'm still not falling one more for some reason. I should be. Is it because I'm not looping? How many times do I have this loop that makes me fall and move? Let's check that really quick. So from B is 1 to 4, but that 1 to 4 is a loop for outputting. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure. Where does the B is 1 to 4 loop end? Because this while loop ends here. Where's the next B? Okay, there's where I do use the substrings. Huh. Well, either way, I should be able to fall 4 times, I suppose, for each time the floor moves. I could output that in the corner of the screen if I really get curious enough. But anyway, we got m minus y minus 1 stores r here. And that seems to be the issue. Not totally sure if that's what it is, but it seems to be something to do . Okay, y is less than 8. So this is where we check if we can fall. We definitely fall . See, this is the strange thing though. This is checking beneath us, not... I believe it's checking beneath us, not... I mean, on par with us. Because if I do this, then we start falling. See, we should not be falling like that. That's... That's just not right. This just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, r divided by 2. I don't get if m minus y, if we're on the same level, like let's say we're both on like 5 or something, why do I keep falling down through the wall is what I'm wondering. It's almost like the wall moves up, then I fall through it. Before it checks if it should move me up or something like that. It's the wall. It's at the start of the game loop is where the wall moves me up. But here is where I fall. But the ground should not be moving whatsoever. So if my Y is above a wall, because my Y is incremented after the wall moves, I'm within the wall up at the top of the game loop. My Y gets incremented automatically. So I will not go through the wall. I will get pushed up. So when it comes to here, there should be a check to see if there's a wall beneath me. If there's not, then I fall. That's what the Y+1 is down here. That's if there's no wall at all beneath me. This is only if there's a wall beneath me and there's a hole. But this is if there's no wall beneath me. So yeah, if the maybe I should like add one or something. I don't know. Okay, I'm getting pushed up with the wall. But why? Was I falling with it? Was I falling with it? It looks like I fall to so right now I'm falling one too far. Yes, I'm falling one too far. Okay, so this is the funny thing. I think I tried to gauge it so it's correct. Because watch, if I add one to it, it's like I fall one too far. But if I subtract from it, one from it, it's like I fall, oops. It's like I fall not one far enough, I believe is how it worked. Oh no, actually I'm falling through the wrong ones. So yeah, I'm not falling far enough. I'm falling one too short. See, I'm in the row above it rather than the row below. So what this made me realize, and I didn't even test at that, like both sides like that, but this is the funny thing. If I don't add one to it, so this should be the correct R now, right? But the problem is now I'm just falling through the ground. And I don't understand why. I should not be falling through the ground like that. Yeah, I don't understand why, because I thought I moved the ground. Like I'm changing M Oops, which fall down? I'm changing M here at the start of the loop, and then right after that is when I check to see if I'm going to change if I need to increment Y. So I mean, I don't know why I don't understand how why it does that. But I guess I could add 1 to R there and then see if that works. And apparently it does. So yeah, now what was B in that one loop? I don't get why B excuse me, goes from 1 to 4. I guess it's creating, it doesn't really need to do any, oh, it needs to output the spaces. Is what it's doing. Yeah, so what I could do is I could put ourselves into kind of like a loop. So not sure what letter I should use here. I guess H. And then I could include the falling loop in with it. Okay, so I can move 10 times now. And apparently fall 10 times. So, yeah. So apparently there we are. That was strange. Oh. I wonder. Yeah, so I don't think I use H anywhere else. So I'm going to change this to 2 just so that we can just move twice for our yeah, it looks like it's working now. So the stars at least tell us where the real holes are. So that kind of helped with the debugging a little bit. Helped me to see what level was which. and at least the game works a little bit better now. Could be a little better still, I think. Maybe possibly like maybe putting that loop somewhere else. Basically what I could do, this is just an idea, but I could kind of put the loop around where we stand, even around just the coordinate. I could put kind of a weight loop around where our coordinates are. I'm not sure. There is a lot of other computations going on, so it's kind of like difficult to squeeze in like the ability to move in places. So, but yeah, that, I think that's a little better than it was before. I could just take those stars out or whatever, but yeah, I'm still kind of disappointed with the game, only because I remember I thought I built a much more fun Falldown game that worked. It was more exciting. Like it seemed, I think I used flat like lines or something for the texture, and then just it worked really well. Like I was able to use random numbers or something to select a smaller and smaller or a faster I'm sorry, less holes to fall through, just to make it harder, and it seemed like it worked really well. This one seems like it's just it goes really slow, and it was just hard to get functioning right, and it just feels like it's been a mess this whole time. Just feels kind of sloppy. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best way to fix it is, but I think it's because there's so many strings being copied here, that doing the whole thing in kind of like one string actually might not be the best idea. I think the best way to have done it is, rather than outputting a space for each new string, what I could have done is I could have just saved the string from when it was created and just kind of like outputted that moving up. Or better yet, what I could do is, taking the code that I have now, I could put spaces into everything, and then I could actually use the strings to my advantage to increment themselves going up. That would be pretty tricky, but that might be the best way to do it. That would actually be really nice, because then I wouldn't have to mess with strings for every iteration. what I could do is I could initialize. It would be kind of hard to initialize because I would basically have to pick some random spaces to start off for the first string. But after that, every new string at the bottom, I would basically copy everything above it, and then I would either add in just like an empty row, or I would add in a new row of O's and just kind of delete whatever is at the top. And whatever the new row of O's is, it'll have some whatever the spaces are, and that will be my string operation. There wouldn't be any extra string operations than just that. And I would never have to worry about resetting like this into string 1 and then go and sub it and everything like that. I could just work with one row at a time and then update it. So that's kind of I guess a future project if I feel up to it. Not sure if I really do right now, but after coming back to this and looking at debugging it and finding that simple way to just print out the asterisks to see what was going on, I think that was a little helpful. For some reason the program just doesn't seem as complicated for me now after I looked at it. So I guess it's because I looked at it off camera and just thought about it really slowly, and that kind of helped a little bit. So before I was trying to force myself to just kind of do everything on camera, so it was difficult for me to kind of get that down. But yeah, that is the episode for today. We're just debugging Falldown a little bit, and we can come back to it maybe another time. But we'll just leave it at that for now, and thank you for watching.